Okay, so I just had like an hour of audio recorded, but I didn't like the first minute. So this is me re-recording it. Essentially, I was just apologizing um for the sound and kind of giving out about how I don't like bad audio, so I'm being super hypocritical. The window's open, so hopefully there's no ambience, but honestly, like it's grand. The sound is grand. So yeah. I think I just started saying how I recently um ate mushrooms for the first time, well, essentially the first time, and the trip was not what I expected. And then I kind of just go into whatever spiel this is. I don't know, like, I didn't really have like a plan of action as to why I bought, grew, and consumed them. Um, I don't really consider myself a very thoughtless person, but like, that was kind of like my main kind of thought, my initial thought that sort of triggered the whole theme of the trip was like, well, the first thought was like, why did I do this? And I couldn't remember. So I just started, I was like, I don't remember. And yeah, that was like the phrase of the next like more than 24 hours, because like the whole like next day, my brain was just like, even though I was like totally like sober and chill and like reality was pretty back to normal, my brain was still like repeating, I don't remember, I don't remember. And like I couldn't help it, I couldn't stop it. It was like, I genuinely thought that I broke my mind, and I was quite worried about that. Um, because I didn't really read up on any of this beforehand either. That's why, like, because I'd taken like microdoses before and like felt like nothing happened. So I was like, I'm just gonna go mad shit on this because I don't want to like waste my money and have nothing happen. But I also like didn't weigh it out, or like didn't like, I've no like a proximity of like measurement, time, distance, like anything like that. My brain is just like, I can't do this. So yeah, I probably took a lot because I started at like, I think I took it at like 12, probably, or like half 12, and like kicked in around like possibly 2ish. Because even like after the first like even after the first like 10-15 minutes, I was like, oh, I guess nothing's fucking happening. Like, let me just get back to life. Let me go on YouTube. And then I was like watching some YouTube video, and I was like having emotions or whatever, and I was like, this is a bit too much. Like emotionally, whatever. I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed. Let me lie down. And I lay down for a while, and then I kind of sat back up. And honestly, this isn't what I like. I was like, I wasn't planning on like going over like recounting the whole thing, but like fuck it, like this is, I'm gonna have this for my memory anyways. And I probably do need to like out loud process it, because I was like processing in my mind, but I really only wanted to actually talk about about my quote unquote insights or whatever. Um, because like I don't know, because everyone talks about it like it's super chill in a way, but I don't think it's for the faint of heart, and I don't think it's something I necessarily, well, we'll get to that, but I don't think it's something I really want to do again. But it did help me overcome like a problem I've been dealing with like for the past like more than a year. It's just like this existential, like deep existential dread, because of like, now I'm getting off topic again, like, anyways, because I began like feeling very trapped in life, in like a sort of expanded sense of like this idea of like samsara, and that I'm never fucking getting out, and that life is like a trap, and that I'm gonna die over and over and over and over and over and over again, and I'm never fucking getting out of here, and that like I'm actually at the mercy of like some god that is like either like parasitically feeding off of me, or like doesn't give a shit, or is like, and I guess I realized that's not really the case, and that like evil can't really be organized in the way that I thought it could be. And I think because of that, like just like the general like fear of evil in the world, of like an organized evil, and like I think one of like the realizations I had is that like, and I don't know how like true this really is, because like I haven't like thought about it too much, but it did seem sort of obvious to me in a sense that evil can be organized. So that has just like given me a lot of psychological relief. But yeah, basically, I do always get back to my point. So like, fair play to me, because I'm remembering now where I left off, which was that after I lay down, I for a while when I sat back up, I sort of noticed, I was like, okay, I think it's kicking in, because like because I'm drooling all over myself and I'm like playing with my saliva and shit, and I'm getting like the biggest kicks out of this. I think this is fucking hilarious. But yeah, I'm getting like I'm behaving a little bit goofy. So I decided to video myself, and like I think I watched it like the next day. Like I tried to watch some of it while I was still like tripping later, but it was like freaking me out. I was like, ugh. And like, because you're like so emotional, that's just like, I don't know. Anyways, but so I watched it maybe like a day or two later, and it was like 50 minutes of me repeating over and over, I don't remember, I don't remember, I don't remember. Because I think I was trying to figure out like why I decided to do this, and like what was the idea, what was the intent behind it, like doing this, like what was I trying to, but it, like even now I don't remember, like but and I think because I essentially thought that I had like sat there for maybe 15 minutes being like, oh, I don't remember, and then like realizing like a couple of days later that, oh no, it was actually an hour that you sat there and we're like obviously having all these thoughts, and I didn't really realize that all I was saying was I don't remember, like because I was having like a dialogue with myself, but like mostly inside my head, and then like responding on the outside, I don't remember. So it was kind of funny to watch back, like we just repeat over and over, I don't remember, and at one point being like, I don't remember, wait, did I just say that? I don't remember. And I became quite like endeared to myself as well, like, oh babe. But yeah, anyways, from there, yeah, because that became like the theme essentially, and just like everything was like in the sky. It was like a choir in the heavens, like of like children singing, I don't remember, I don't, kind of like, that sort of taunting, teasing voice. But it wasn't like annoying, like usually that would, like, I guess would be annoying, but it was sort of like, it didn't have that, like, it wasn't irritating. And then like the clouds were sort of like had this real like bassy sound, and sort of like they weren't like really able to fully enunciate it to make it sound like I don't remember, but it was this sort of I don't remember. I sound so stupid saying this now, but like everything, the washing machine going off in the other room was singing I don't remember. Everything was singing that. And actually in the video as well, because I remember this as well, but like, yeah, because like essentially, okay, sorry, my thought is splitting for a moment. But I guess watching the video, there was a point where I don't remember, like sort of turned sour, because I was like, I guess I was becoming aware to the gravity of which I could not remember, and I was just like, I remember feeling it like inside my brain, like my mind was like melting, like that a physical sensation of like I don't know, it's like when I couldn't wake myself up. Like I'm very good at like I do get a little bit like weird sometimes in my brain, especially when I'm waking up from sleep, just like intense paranoia and stuff, but I'm very good at like shaking myself out of it. And I was just like, fuck, I don't remember. And I couldn't like shake myself out of it. Like I literally, the videos like of me is just like I'm shaking my head. And I remember that as well, like trying to like shake my head, like bring myself back to fucking reality. And then I got on the ground for like, I don't know how long, but I was having a total meltdown. Because I mean, I only really realized on like looking back, because I'm actually glad, because I was alone like when I did this, and I'm kind of glad, even though like I guess it's like recommended to have a trip sitter, but I also like know myself, And I'm super like self-conscious already. Like I'm always aware of like how I'm being perceived, and I'm always like conscious of that. Um Let me balance my tea better because it's gonna spill all over my bed. Um but yeah, so I wanted to, I guess, like, that definitely would have, like, made the experience a bit, like, annoying or, like, less than if I was, like, I just hate being perceived so much, like, as does everyone, but, like, massively. Like, anyways. Um, oh, yeah. And I was really not anticipating to freak out at all because, like, I don't know, I really wasn't expecting it. So I was like, I went to ChatGPT, um, what a babe. And, I was like, I didn't know you could have a bad mushroom trip, even though like I did know that, like I don't know, and it was like its tone, it was like so bad. Like I know it's not a real person, so like, but honestly, I don't know if a real person can really do it either. But like its tone was not hitting right in that moment. It's like, of course you can, and all like, cause I wasn't even like really able to read, so it's just like, you know, all the like the warning emojis and shit. I was like, fuck. But just reading back my messages, I was like, wait, what is day to day, like I just like totally forgot like what day to day reality of consisted of. And yeah, I was definitely freaking out because I just wasn't, I thought like I'd see cool shit and like things would be moving around. I didn't think I would literally forget who I was and how life consisted, and I didn't think it would like fuck with my mind, like the like I thought I like hallucinating or whatever, but I thought I would be able to like have I don't know, something to back myself up in terms of like not get psyched the fuck out and be able to like even in reality, like I have had to work so hard over the past, is this still recording? I've had to work, I don't even know if I started recording, that would suck. I have had to work so hard just to engrave a sort of reality in my life of like a mental thought patterns of like everything is going to be okay and da 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 da, you know, just to like function in life. And that has been about like 5 or 6 years in the curating, and just like to have it all go in like one moment. And honestly, like that is actually not really the case because like I was still kind of being upbeat and stuff and trying my damnedest to be. Um but yeah, I think like another reason is because like yeah, I guess it was sort of compulsive. Like I would never have like thought I would not ever do any sort of like psychedelics or stuff, but like I really am into like I don't drink alcohol, I'm not into drugs, like I'm really about like a clean life, quote unquote, not to be like cringy or annoying or anything. But like it does fuck with me. Like everything fucks with me. My mind, my body, my mood, my everything. Like I am so fuck withable. um and fragile and shit. And okay, so essentially, like, I would have been, like, I like go through like phases of like listening to a lot of like the Rudolf Steiner stuff, and I'm super into it, and I don't necessarily agree with everything, but also I know I'm a dummy, and in every sense of it, so like, I think if I don't agree with it, it's just like, I don't know, it's probably, I'm either like taking it wrong or, um, maybe it is wrong, I don't know. But I guess like Steiner kind of talks about like mushrooms and not necessarily psychedelic mushrooms. I actually don't know if he has anything to say about that, but like I don't know if it was before or after I bought mushrooms, but I was listening to one of his like lectures, one of his audio lectures. No, as in one of his lectures that someone puts on audio. I'll probably link it. Maybe. Probably won't actually. Um, but he sort of talks about mushrooms as being like from the old moon period and sort of essentially not being like good for like psychic development or like development of like your human soul through evolution because they're from like this kind of lunar primitive period or whatever, and sort of that they're like cosmically rooted as opposed to like, which I guess like makes sense, but also like basically I don't know how to like put this, but I was like I guess like I considered them to be sort of a primitive leaning as opposed to like a leaning towards God and like evolution or whatever. So I was like, I don't know about this, but I'd already like I heard, or well, I don't know when I had, but like, anyways, it doesn't matter because fuck it, I took them anyway. So, um, but yeah, I thought that was like interesting because I sort of had like I'd been reading. My fucking accent is so annoying. My voice is so annoying. But I'd been reading The Passion According to G.H. by Clarice Lispector, and if you haven't read it's sort of I don't even think like I'm too dumb to understand it. Like I really love her writing and stuff because like I'm not like I can't follow a story, but I can like follow a character and like their internal like not dialogue, but like workings or like a person trying to figure themselves out. Like I'm there for that, you know. And um but still like I'm still like I'm not a smart person, and I need to stop saying that as well because like I am smart. No, but like anyways, um but yeah, no, it definitely like went over my head in a big way, and I also like found myself like really struggling with it because I don't like know if like if sorry, I'm like thinking and trying to talk at the same time. I'm not really a talker, to be honest. Um, and the reason I'm like putting this here is because like, who the fuck else am I going to talk to about this shit? like, anyone who has like any interest in this in my life, like, just doesn't have enough time a day for me. Like, not that they don't like care about me or anything, but just that they're like fucking bored still. And yeah, so like, fuck it, I'll talk to myself. I guess I'll talk to myself. Usually I just talk to myself in my head, but like that is like sort of incessant, and maybe I still will. But I'm like, if I get it out in audio, I don't have to like go like talk in my head for hours on hours because it's like kind of exhausting. And I want to be silent. I want to be silenced. No, I want to be silent. Sorry, I'm losing my track of mind. Okay, what was I trying to say? So essentially, yeah, I struggled with this book because I don't know because she I guess because I don't know if it's because of my like sort of obsession. I can't even say it's an obsession because I honestly haven't like there's just so much like Rudolf Steiner material and I'm so intrigued by it, but like there's so fucking much of it that like I can never call it an obsession because I just know myself and I'm not going to get that into it where I actually like if I'm having an obsession over it, like I know everything about it. I'm not gonna ever know everything about it because I'm not gonna read all that. I'm not gonna listen to all that. That's just way too fucking much. But also like I guess like all of my sort of esoteric interests are sort of I don't know if that noise was really irritating, but what the fuck are you trying to say? Um Basically, I'm not trying to go towards the primitive. I'm not trying not I'm like don't want to de-evolve. Is that a word? Devolve? That probably is more of a word. I want to evolve. And yeah, man, this is not, you know what, I'm gonna write up. I was planning on starting a Substack for like putting my dreams up because I have like books and books and books and books. I have diaries on all of my dreams from since like 2018, which like is almost in another 3 years that'll be a decade. Actually, it was probably 2016, which actually next year is a decade, which is fucking insane. Um, but yeah, I was like planning on making a Substack for putting my dreams up there, and like this just isn't coming out. I wanted it to. My brain is not good enough. So fuck it, I might just like actually write an essay up on like what I'm actually trying to say. But like this will still help. Talking it out. Let's see how long I've been going for. Wow, I'm so so not I don't talk enough in my day-to-day life. I'm not really I was never properly socialized. I never bothered to socialize myself, and I don't spend much time talking to people because I'm so like how I mentally and like when I express my mentally, I'm just so disorganized that it's kind of boring and tedious to have to be around me or like talk with me. So I usually don't talk that much, which is like a very weird experience for other people to be around someone who is never talking. But actually, I don't even feel a lack of not expressing myself because I enjoy just taking things in. But I have in the past made people really uncomfortable by just sitting there and not saying anything. I do talk more now though. Like, I think I have officially become like a normally socialized person. I also don't socialize that much, so I guess I'm not getting like rejection whiplash or whatever. But yeah, sorry, it is hard to keep a train of thought, isn't it? Anyways, I don't know how loud I'm speaking because I have like housemates and stuff, and I hope they can't hear me. Let me take a sip of tea. Yeah, so essentially, I'm being too self conscious. That's what's happening right now. I'm being too self conscious because I'm not getting my point out. Because okay, I'm being self conscious about how slow it is for me to express myself, but also I think I'm just like generally sort of confused about what I'm trying to say. But yeah, essentially, okay. I know what to say. Is that I guess the novel is about, for anyone who hasn't read it, is about your one GH. She's deciding to clean her house, or like one room in her house, and she goes in and there's this cockroach, and she has like a horrible fear of cockroaches because they're so nasty in her mind. I don't know. I haven't actually had much experience with cockroaches, so I was like, oh, that's kind of mean. That kind of hurt his feelings. That's not nice to say. But I don't know if I've ever actually come across a cockroach, so maybe. But I'm very like I do love insects and stuff, and I have a lot of empathy for insects. I'm very afraid of wasps, but I get that another time. But yeah, she comes across this cockroach. She's so afraid that she like mentally, I guess, goes to hell, or like unravels to hell, and then goes and like finds God through like going to hell through this cockroach. And like, spoiler alert, she to like she really like she's like, I am the cockroach or whatever, so she eats it. And that is essentially what I felt like eating mushrooms. I was like okay, I am like going, except it was like backwards, because I like had all like I had that sort of like whatever like experience she had before she ate the cockroach is the experience I had after I ate the mushroom, where I was like, initially everything was like super primitive, and then eventually sort of got to God from there. But like it definitely felt like going into the past to get to the future, sort of, as opposed to like going through the present to get to the future, which I think is like kind of my mental kind of hang up before, like with the novel and with like deciding to do mushrooms. And it was kind of weird, though I'm not sure. I guess it's hard to tell, like, is my mind like connecting these two things because they're actually connected, or is it just like I read this book and then like I literally like a few days later I've like, when I finished it, because I read very slowly and I don't actually read much. I'm trying to like start to read for the first time in my life, because I'm trying to be smart, girl. But yeah, that was, I felt like I understood the book after that experience, like to an extent. Like I did not understand the book before. There was probably a lot of it that but I just like I had an aversion to it in a way, because I was like, I didn't know if it was just like a story, or if she was trying to like relay some sort of like truth about life. And if it was supposed to be a truth about life, I was like, this isn't true though. Like, we don't have to go backwards to go forwards. We just have to go forwards. And I don't think you have to go backwards to go forwards, but I don't think it's like maybe evil in the way that I thought it was before. You know what I mean? That said, maybe I'll get to that later, because maybe I don't really have much to say. But just like, I don't think I think after the experience I'm like, okay, one and done, kind of like, as in, like, I still have some left, so like I'll finish them and then I'll be done. But like, I don't think this is like my way to God, especially if from experiences I've had since, because like it sort of lingers in your subconscious, and or not your subconscious, like in your system, I guess, for a days afterwards, and like I'm like, I guess it's like a sort of like, I don't know, like I don't know if it's like a careless initiation, because it's not like everyone has like, it's not like, I don't know, there's a lot of like ways of initiation to like, I don't even know what you call it. Is it just initiation, or like is initiation to like, I don't know, higher realms or like God or whatever the fuck. But like, because I was reading this book, I don't even know what book I was reading. I never finished it because I like, I don't know, I'm not good at finishing books. But it was, I don't know if it was Kundalini yoga or something like this, but it was like basically the whole book was like, don't attempt this because you're like gonna fuck yourself up, or like it's too much. So like, I don't know, like as in, because okay, just to tie my thoughts together, because I was like, okay, I think I kind of bit off more than I could chew. Like in the moment I was like, fuck, I bit off more than I chew. But even like in the days afterwards, like just like sort of weird experiences I've been having, like in mostly like sleep, but like because I'm not like a great sleeper, so sometimes, so like I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. or something, and I'll just meditate instead of go to sleep. And and then just like being taken to places that I'm like, oh, I'm out of my depths. I'm out of my depths. I'm not supposed to be here. But then like the next day I'm like, oh no, it's chill. It's chill. You were just overreacting, and like you're actually not out of your depths, and actually you're very in your depths. And so like I don't know if like doing something like taking psychedelics is like a cheat code that like backfires. If you're like bypassing the appropriate like steps of initiation into something that is sort of out of your realms. And it's weird because like trying to talk to my brother about like this, and like I didn't actually like talk to him, but I don't know, I was kind of like, I don't know, I just thought that maybe he'd have a bit more warning, or like um just kind of say more things about like the way that I like, as in like might be, what's it called, when like he might echo some of my sentiments. And not that I really had much of a conversation about it with him yet, but maybe I will. um Now I've totally lost my train of thought. Now I've totally lost my train of thought. I have some notes written down that I'm like trying to follow along, and this is so true actually, because I don't remember in the book. I'm pretty sure there's a line where your one GH is like she became, like she, I don't know if she's saying like she is the cockroach, or she like became the cockroach, or like she's the cockroach and the cockroach is her. But like, I don't know if I already said this because I can't remember, but I don't remember. um, um, I'm gonna have to put a limiter on this, haven't I? Ugh, techie shit that I'm not good at. Um, but like, you are you are the mushroom, and the mushroom is you, and like you are simultaneously experiencing yourself as the mushroom and the mushroom as yourself at the same time. And like this is after my little like freak out, when I sort of, it's like very like, I it was a very uncomfortable experience from start to finish. Like the first hour was like a little bit fun. It was extremely uncomfortable after that, and like I definitely took too much, because like days and days after, like my whole body was fucking wrecked. I was so wrecked. um but yeah, it was intense, and like, yeah, um it was like really uncomfortable to be a mushroom. And I think obviously I wasn't having like a full natural mushroom experience, like as in like being a mushroom. I wasn't like, I was still myself. I still had my little human body when I opened my eyes. I was still there, even though like my arms and legs and stuff were like fused. It looked like, and it felt like my limbs were all like fused together. Um, but I I I could feel, I don't know, just because everything starts like turning, like I don't even know how to describe it. You just have to know yourself. But yeah, I like felt what it was physically like to be a mushroom, and it was very uncomfortable. But also I felt the mushroom's absolute delight and glee with getting to be a human. And that was so sweet and earnest. And I also feel like I felt my own delight and glee and like pride, like a huge sense of pride that I got to be a human and that like I evolved into a human. I don't know what that was or where, but I did like when you do close your eyes and like just become like whatever the fuck you become or wherever you go. I don't even know. I barely remember. Like I just know I was like dancing and moving and like it was fun and stuff. And I was like, I don't know. But you, what am I trying to say? Oh, my brain is totally blanking. I literally don't know what wow. I am realizing how feeble my poor mind is. Okay, I'm just gonna. There is another thing that Steiner said as well, that like fear is what fear is what keeps us together. As in like the densest part of ourselves, like, and this makes a lot of sense as well because like if you're into astrology, like Saturn rules the bones and the teeth, and it's sort of the karmic planet of like fear and stuff, and yeah, it's like the hardest part of us is our bones, and he was saying we have the most fear in our bones, um and that is like essentially what you feel is like you totally dissolve, like if you close your eyes, like your body just like goes away. And anyways, I don't know why I'm saying that. um okay, I'm kind of getting distracted now. I think I'm just gonna skip over some of whatever I was trying to express there. Like you get the gist of it. I might just write this up. I will also say though, like what maybe this ties in. So so after my little breakdown, and after I was like kind of being a mushroom and vibing and shit, and like I was being other things as well. I was being a lot of different things. And everything was just sort of playing and dancing. Everything that I was being was just playing and dancing for a while. And I think I had and yeah, that was the sort of chaos. Like even that's how I knew it was primitive. Like because it was so chaotic. And there, I suppose there wasn't like I was still very aware of myself, especially when I opened my eyes. Like my body was there, and my bedroom was there. So I was like the whole time I was very aware of myself, but like I was totally distributed. Like all of my atoms are just like broken up and dancing and playing, and there was colors and stuff, and it was cute and it was fun, and it was very childish, and I guess I sort of like, not to jump all over the place, but like, I'm a very, I am like too childish of a person in general. Like, I've never struggled to like find my inner child because she never grew the fuck up. Like, that's my real struggle, is that like I don't know, I know there's like that Jungian like stuff of like the eternal child, and it's not in a positive way. It's kind of a diss. It's kind of like yeah, I don't really know much about that, but I remember watching a video once and being like, this sounds like me. Ow, my ego, that hurts. because I am like, I like rely too much on other people and stuff, and which is weird because I'm like totally isolated. Like I spend 90% of my time alone. Um but I don't even know if this is really going to compute just because of my own lack of intelligence of like expressing myself. But okay, what are you trying to say? Yeah, okay, well, since I guess I have felt, because there was like, I'll get to it, but there's an experience where I sort of like became an adult when I was there. Um, and basically ever since, I feel like this adult is sort of integrating itself in my real life, which is really like, I can't like intellectualize it. It's just like a feeling. I'm like, wow, I feel very mature. I feel very mature. And I guess essentially I bring that up to be like there is a sort of like oh, because I had this realization that like I was like, wow, I'm really clinging to like being a child, and I don't want to grow up, and I have a fear that if I decide to mature in any way, that I won't have like access to this sort of the childlike nature of like, which I guess I associate with like joy and happiness and, you know, nice things, especially because like as a child you're told all the time like this is as good as it gets, you know, like life, you know, you're just told all this stuff. Like I never wanted to grow up, and all the adults around me always felt like so fucking dead and miserable. Like even to this day, like, I don't know. So I never like wanted to be an adult, and now I'm realizing that actually, like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to retrace some of my steps, but well, because while I was sitting there, oh, I'm so sorry if this is like difficult to follow, but like fuck it, like this is how my brain works. Like I'd follow this easily, so maybe you will as well. Would I? Because actually, I'm thinking now, like whenever I'm like sending messages or like voice notes or anyone to anything to anyone, when I listen back, I have not a fucking clue what I'm saying. I'm like, what? What did that mean? How did this person like understand me? I don't know. Anyways, I guess that's not my problem. Okay. Oh, what am I trying to say? Um, oh yeah. So when I was sitting there for ages, being like, initially because I was kind of playing between being like, I don't remember, and I don't remember, but there was like a point where I was like, I don't remember. Like I was really like, I felt like such a child, like looking up to the sky, because I was just like sitting on the ground looking out my window at the like the clouds all doing their shapes and shit like that, like cool patterns, which I might talk about as well. But I was like, I don't remember. And I think I was saying it in my head at this point. I don't know if I was actually saying it loud. Maybe I was. Actually, I think I have a recording of myself because I was like, this would be fun to document. And I recorded myself for like 3 hours, even though I'm sure like 2 of those hours are total silence. Um, but yeah, then I started to like return to like what was it called? Respond. There we go. To myself while I was looking at the clouds. So I think it was like I was like talking to myself from the clouds, as in like, and I was saying, what was I saying? You do remember, yeah, yeah. I was like, you do, yeah. That's what I was saying out loud. I was like, you do remember. And I was like, you do remember, because my voice is all like, it's weird. Like I'm pretty sure I listen back to my voice and like it sounds like I have some sort of like a reverb or something on it, because like just the way I was speaking was like, it was weird. Maybe it wasn't that weird. I don't know. Um, yeah. So essentially, what I was sort of perceiving or understanding was that like, because I was saying that I had this like earlier, I was kind of talking, and even that whole like chaos experience, like at the beginning, that was like total disorder, like chaos, and then I was sort of like, so I was sort of perceiving it like there are like these grandparents that are like in my head they were God, but probably if we're like considering God is like the top and the bottom. It's like the order to the chaos. But in my mind, or like in my perception in this moment, I was like, no, God is like the grandparents at the top, and that's like where I'm going. And that, like I'm trying to mature and shit, you know. But basically, yeah, it was just like these grandparents were like, oh my god, this is gonna be complicated. Like it's not complicated to understand. It's just gonna be complicated to explain, because I'm like, there's a lot of words that I have to use to make sentences to like express something that is really just like one thought. That's my problem with language, is that like you can just, a thought happens in an instant and then you have to like express it using like so many words and still it doesn't fucking make any sense. Do you know what I mean? Like that's why I struggle so much. Ugh. I don't even know where to begin. Okay, so like, fuck this. So essentially, I guess what was happening is like the clouds, who were the grandparents, were watching their children and sort of teasingly being like, "You do remember? How you do?" While the kids were being like, were like playfully antagonizing and teasing, being like, "I don't remember," as if they were like in a game. And I guess that made me aware that like, and then there was also the inquisitive part of me being like, no, I don't, like I really don't remember, like please tell me, because I really don't remember. And then the grandparents being like, oh no, but you do remember. And um yeah, and obviously, you know, we are, there's like this like, oh, earth is like, or like life is just a game or whatever, but it was like very, it's very much to that effect, which like, you know, if you, it's like everything I kind of like would have believed anyways, but it was just like having that experience made it so true for me in a way that I just have so much more trust. Well, I don't know, because you have it in the moment and then like you're back in real life and you're like, oh, I'm afraid again. Things aren't gonna work out. But like in that moment, and it definitely did like obliterate a lot of like my mistrust of life and my mistrust of like everything existential, and my dread and my fear and all of that. Like it definitely, this moment definitely wiped like so much of that in a way that like I really am just like fucking relaxing in my life right now, even though I don't like have an income or a job, or you know, I fucking there's a lot of shit that I'm not enjoying about my life. Well, I'm not I'm not really enjoying. Well, it's all of on idyllic shit. Um, yeah. So yeah, this like hammered it home for me, anyways. Like in like I guess the experiential way. But is there any point explaining it now? Because I essentially have. But like, yeah, I was like the grandparents watching their kids play on Earth, and then I guess like falling into an actual not remembering, and that is I guess where like all the pain and stuff happens, is because you really don't remember. And like even in that moment, like I was like remembering that, but like I wasn't like actually remembering. Like I kind of realized the extent to like which I have to remember to like become a god. Like that kind of seemed like I was like, oh, I have to become a god. Like that's like that was my evolutionary path, is that I have to become a god. And like I don't really know, like, oh, if that's the truth right now, but like that was the thing anyways, is like you have to remember to like come back up here to us, or else like you are choosing to play this game and you want to play the game, and if you want to forget, like that's your prerogative. Like that's what you wanted. Like you're playing a game and you're pretending you don't remember, but you do remember. um and then I went to the bathroom at one point, and of course, like, there's all the patterns and shit everywhere, and like the walls are glowing and moving and lighting up, and everything is colorful, and I was sitting on the toilet looking at the walls and the tiles and the light coming in shining against the shower, and I was like I honestly hate like this house that I'm living in is it's not my house, and the situation is not like under my control, as far as like it's I don't like living here. It is really fucking gross and disgusting. um, but in that moment, I had so much fucking love for that dirty toilet, like that dirty bathroom. Um, and it had like so much love for me. But I was like, and honestly, ever since whenever I go in there, I'm like, oh bless, like you're looking out for me, you know. Like I can sense your love, and I know that you're here for me. To like the tiles on the walls and shit. But yeah, essentially all the patterns. This is what I sort of like grasped in this moment. This is my sort of awareness, was that like everything, all the patterns everywhere. Okay, maybe this isn't like really true, because like when I came back into my bedroom, I was like, no, but that wardrobe is a little bit more sinister. um or a little bit more like cheeky, trickster. It wasn't like when I was in the bathroom, I was like, oh, y'all want me to remember what it's y'all want me to remember. Whereas when I came in here, I was a little bit more like, what are you up to? um but yeah, it was just like all those patterns in the sky, like the clouds making all their patterns. It was like information dockets. I don't know, inform. Yeah, it was essentially like a language to remember. That obviously I still like. I don't fucking remember. Like I still don't know what I'm supposed to remember. um, but I did get this impression that like everything in life, or at least the majority of things in our physical world, is like is like lightly guiding us to remember who we are, which is like, I guess, gods or something. I don't know if that's it. I don't know, because I don't remember. I am so hungry. Damn, I'm gonna have to eat again. I'm gonna die. Okay. I can get to that in a while. But yeah, so there was this moment then, eventually getting to whatever the fuck I'm trying to say, where I was sitting here and I was looking out, and I like realized, I guess it was like the part of my the part of the trip where your ego was sort of dropping. Like before, it was like that ego death where it's like you're just total confusion, and you literally aren't like, you're just like, you totally disperse into like everything, and you don't have a body and shit, and like it's scary at the start, and then it's like playful, but it's like still exhausting and like not exactly what I want to be. Oh yeah, now I remember what I'm actually trying to say. And then I had this like, I guess, like the second ego. I don't even really think I had an ego death, to be honest. Like I definitely had a like I don't really know what that's supposed to mean, but I don't think I really did, because the whole time I was like, I knew who I was. Um but I was like, becoming very aware of everything in my life that was um like all the stories, like all, yeah, basically that everything was a story, and that it was like the only real thing was like from the grandparents' point of view. Do you know what? Or like, as in the clouds or whatever, the gods, like the grandparent gods. I'm just gonna call them the grandparents. That makes sense for me. I just mean not my literal grandparents, but like they see truth, and I have to trust in them because they are what can see truth. And now I've lost my thought again. Now I've lost my train of thought again. Um, but yeah, I guess I was having a moment where I was like, I guess remembering then, coming a little bit closer to them, as far as like I was seeing all the stories in my life and even the things that like I was aware of where my ego, um, just I guess to the extent that they really, really were my ego. And then there were just like so many, even things that I thought were like really important, um, parts of the matrix or whatever you want to call it, like that I thought like, were real threats. Like everything, even the things like I started been dealing with this sort of like, when I was saying earlier about like struggling with like, oh, have I taken off more than I could chew? Like in that moment I was like, oh, it's all a fucking illusion. So I don't actually have to worry about like, I don't, even though I don't even know if that's true now, if I don't have to worry, but like in the moment I was like, oh, I don't have to fucking worry about anything. I don't have to worry about anything because yeah. And yeah, so all of my story fell apart. And in that moment, because I was like, and then all like, I guess like things like, it's like little like liquid pouring through your body sort of. And, you know, all of your tension going and like any area maybe that you've had a lot of tension just like turns to liquid. And it was just like liquid pouring in my body as I was sitting there. And I I can't say I literally had a vision, but I had this like image impression of myself being absolutely giant. And I was like, oh, yippee. I'm transcending into my next line of evolution. I'm leaving all of this human shit behind. I wasn't pumped, but I was like, yes. I was like, can I move into this right now? I was like, okay, what are the things in life that I love that I'm unfortunately going to be leaving behind? And it wasn't even like necessarily that I was like going to be interacting with another world, but I just like thought like there was just like so I just like I guess before this I was sitting on the floor and I was like going over my whole life in my head and just like realizing how small my life is, how like everything is just everything is everything essentially, like how every thing in my life is just a repeated pattern of something else. And I was like, wow, my life is so small. um and then I had this moment of being like, wow, my life could be so much more fulfilling and more bigger, and like not even in the like in more than a human sense, and like it's going to take me lifetimes to achieve whatever I had a glimpse of there, of to like get that like fullness and that wholeness. And like I just felt like how unfeeling my life is, even though I feel like I feel a lot of the time, and like my life is very full and very overwhelming. I just like saw how small it really was and how unfulfilling it really was, and how yeah, like even as much as like when I'm reflecting back on like the experiences of like, being a mushroom, like it's just you're just playing or you're just like moving, you're just like you're just there with the movement, and it's really quite small. Like all you're doing is you're there moment to moment, and it's like nice, but it is quite small and it's quite unfulfilling in the larger scheme of things. So it was like a looking back on like my life now and being like, wow, it is so small. I'm gonna be so much bigger. My life is gonna be so much bigger. And I was like thinking of like the people in life that I love, and like I'm like, oh, it's so sad for them because I can't interact with them anymore because I have a new life that I'm going into, and I'm just like I'm not really attached to them, and I love them and leave them, love them and leave them behind, love and leave everything behind. I'm leaving all of my desires. I don't really desire any of those things anymore, and actually, yeah, I don't need any of that, and I'm leaving it all behind for something more fulfilling. Unfortunate. Well, no, I don't know. I guess it's like you have to go through life. Like you have to go step by step. You can't just like jump, which is unfortunate because it's like so. I don't want to be here. But yeah, you have to go through all of the little steps, I guess, because here I am back again in my ego, in my little life, in my little like I've definitely like been what am I trying to say? Dissolving a lot of myself in the past, like just like in my thoughts and stuff. I'm like, oh, thank God I can let go of all this shit. Like, and there's a lot like I am moving past finally. Okay, I think I'm losing my train of thought again. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm gonna have to eat again. I didn't want to. I thought I ate enough today. Ugh. Okay. What was I saying? Yes. Ugh, I'm kind of getting tired. Will I keep going? I think I will. I could be here for fucking ever. This might never end. This might never end. I'm gonna have to split this up into many bits. Hmm. Okay. Will I ever actually get to the point I was trying to say? Will I ever? Does it ever happen? Oh, I am suddenly quite tired, so I'm just gonna try to get to the point that I was trying to make. Yes, essentially I'm back here in my life, but what was I even trying to say about like this? It was a whole like thing about like being, oh yes, leaving my childishness behind in a sense is actually not something to mourn, and like maturing and growing up is not something to have an aversion to. And like as much as like people want to embrace their inner child and stuff, and that's all good for people who need that, but I don't need that. Like I am a fucking child. I am the child. I don't need to. There is no inner. The child never gave up. Like literally, that's like been my fucking struggle in life, is to like keep up with my peers, because I just have an aversion to growing up. Like when I couldn't be a teenager because I wanted to be a child, and now I can't be an adult because I want to be a child. And yeah, there's like it is like this primitive energy is a little child. That what it is. That's what it is. It's a little child playing, and there is so much peace in order and structure and trust. And is this what I'm trying to say? Is that what the fuck I'm trying to say? But yeah, basically, I just like noticed that like in my day to life, I'm like, wow, I feel like very secure and stable and adult and mature, and that is really nice. Man, I feel like such a fucking retard now, like saying all this, because what? How have I talked for like an hour about? I don't even know. Was that what I was trying to say? Is that what I was? Because that's it didn't. I felt like more. I felt like I had more to say than just like whatever the fuck I just said there. Yeah, but like every day, like I think the main effect this has had on me is that like every day I come back. Sorry, I don't know what are you trying to say. When I wake up, I'm like so fucking grateful, like more grateful than I've ever been. Like I have always been so bored of life. Like and just wanting something extraordinary to happen. Um like I wanted life to be a fucking trip, and to like I wanted the things in my dreams. Like I wanted that chaos. I like not chaos because like I'm a Taurus. I like stability. I always will. Um but like just like the holiness of like things that I get in my dreams. Like I really wanted that to be my real life, and like that. It's literally, and not really, but like that is a real pipe dream in a way, because like you can't, like maybe you can, maybe I actually can, but like I guess like you're not expected to be able to like the trees aren't gonna sing to you. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're sober and you're walking around like you can't fly, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Why am I talking about this? What was I trying to say? Oh yeah, essentially, like my my boredom, my excessive boredom and frustration with my boredom of the mundane in life is like, I wouldn't say it's like totally absolved, but massively so. Because I all of my atoms are stuck together, and I have a structure, and I can walk from the bed to the door, and I can sit on the floor, and I have a body, and I can get in the shower and just like shit like this. Like I love having a shower. I love having a cup of tea. I love, I, I actually like that I have like to spend money and shit, money that I don't have. I like all these conventions now. I'm so grateful for my very structured existence. Thank you. Um, I had a lot to say. Honestly, I had a lot to say, and I haven't said really any of it because I apparently can't organize my thoughts, which is something I want to work on in my life. I really feel like I had a lot more to say, even though I spoke for so long. I've said nothing. I don't. This is a problem that I should try to address. I don't really know how. do. I think I'm just. I want to. It has kind of inspired me to actually try to like write about this and put more effort into my expression. And maybe if I write, I'll put more effort into that expression. But yeah, I guess like my main takeaway is like I feel a little bit more consoled about life. I'm not so existential as I used to be. I'm not so like existentially afraid and dreadful. Not dreadful, but like dreading everything. Which like I didn't even realize because I tried so hard over the past like 5 or 6 years to like um make myself like have happy thoughts and like basically like brainwash myself into being a happy person. I don't know why I was saying that. Oh yeah, so that like I kind of didn't really realize actually the extent to of my fear. Um and another thing, I guess maybe this is kind of stupid and worthless of saying, but I guess I was sort of thinking the ego. Is this even worth saying? You like okay. First of all, like so grateful for my ego. That's another thing I'm so fucking grateful for. Oh my god, thank you for the structure in the organization. Thank you. But also that it is because I guess there is like this chaos, and it doesn't really. I don't know if it makes sense to say because like that the ego is the labyrinth between you and God. Hood because it did seem that you had no like in the total chaos you didn't have an ego either. Um, but maybe that is just like an even crazier labyrinth. I don't know, but yeah, essentially my sort of yeah, it's just being human is the real drug. Like that's what I realized is like this is the drug. Like this labyrinth, this like labyrinth that obstructs us from like God. This like ego that creates the world around us. Like that is the real drug because like the confusion and the forgetting like that is basically what that drug like that's basically it was just like human on steroid is what it felt like to be a mushroom or to take mushrooms and like like that is essentially I was like oh this is the drug you know being human like that's like the thing like because like it's like the god like if you think of it like if we're taking drugs to like have experiences like whatever the fuck I just had. And I suppose in a way we are trying to open ourselves up to God as well, but like a lot I think like okay, not really what more of what impacted on me, but like I guess it's a couple of days, it's like a week or so. It's a good while after now. So I'm like kind of like initially what like really impacted me was like realizing God or whatever, and now I'm kind of like going back more into like the experience of like the chaos and the mushroom, and I'm like so from that point of view, I'm like oh, is that why we take drugs to like have this like weird experience where we're like dancing and playing and like and is that like the gods are essentially becoming humans as like a drug because it's like fun. Anyways, that's just like that's not even my real thoughts on it. Well, it kind of is, but yeah, no, but definitely that like yeah. Anyways, okay, I think I've said enough. I think that's it. Slán, bye.